Hello, everyone. Welcome, MTL Sports, episode 138. We are in playoff mode, folks. So, with that being said, we have football, but we have college football and NFL playoffs. The college football playoffs have started for past 2 weeks, but we're getting close to the finals for that. So, we will go over, I think we got Notre Dame. It's a Notre Dame, Texas, right? And then, I don't know.
It's
I
Penn
don't know the
State,
order.
Notre Dame, and Texas, Ohio State.
Well, there you go. We'll go over those semifinal games. I think they take place Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday through Monday, we have NFL the wildcard round playoffs, with those games starting Saturday and ending on a Monday Night Football playoff game. So, all that being said, guys, stay tuned. All right, everyone, we're back. Let's start with NFL as usual. Playoff edition though, with the wild card round. The Chiefs and the Lions both are the number one seeds in their respective conferences, so they will have a first round bye. That's part of the new playoff, standard that they put in, I believe, a year or two ago. So we have the 2 through 7 seeds playing this weekend. Let's start on Saturday, shall we?
All
Pull
right.
up the NFL playoff bracket. The Saturday games, the very first one, Texans Chargers, in Houston, because Houston won the division, so they are the 4 seed. They have at least one home game in the playoffs. This will most likely be that one home game. Lawrence, I'll let you tackle this one first. Who do you think wins this one and why?
Chargers, Texans. I'm simply just gonna have to take the Chargers. No offense to the Texans, they've just looked downhill to finish the season, and the Chargers. I mean, respectfully, they're looking nice. They could look a lot better. Um, but I think the trap game the Raiders game was they handled it with grace. Like I wasn't never nervous that the Chargers are going to lose that game, kind of deal. Um, like closing out the season, winning the games that are needed, aka the one against Denver. Like they've just shown um, the ability to win games, and that's why they're the fifth seed at this point. I think the offense does enough for that defense to pretty much nullify everything the Texans are going to have. Depleted O line, that's perfect because the Chargers probably one big weakness is probably pass rush. I know they got Joey Bosa, but he hasn't looked amazing this season. And Khalil Mack also has been in and out with injuries. Do I think they can get correct right before the playoffs? Oh, 100%. But I mean, that's a nice, easy first game for the two of them to go against a defense, go against an offense. It's pretty much lost most of its weapons. O line is beaten and battered, and honestly, the quarterback has kind of switched roles with Bryce Young. I mean, Stroud is the one being shit on now.
Yeah, I agree. His offensive line has let him down through back half of the season. I feel like he doesn't have any starters at this point. Maybe just one on that offensive line, and you can see the regression from him. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers in this one. I think it will be a close game just because it's in Houston, and I don't think Stroud will let them go down without a fight. Even though it's gonna be hard. They haven't been able to establish the run the past couple of games. He hasn't had time to throw. He's been running for his life. He looks like Justin Fields out there. You said Bryce Young. He looks like Bryce Young last year, running for his life a lot of the time. So I think we'll see more of that, like you said, with Khalil Mack and Bosa going after him. But I think it's still a close one. But the Chargers, I think, got this one in the bag. Next up, the late night Ravens Steelers. Kind of surprised, Lawrence. The Ravens are almost 10-point favorite, 9.5-point favorite and we don't know if Zay Flowers will actually play, which I think is a big factor of my decision as to who's going to win. Only because he's Lamar's guy. Even though they got Likely and Mark Andrews, I feel like they need someone to be able to catch those short to intermediate routes. Plus, he can go deep and beat you in the back end. So, with all that being said, who do you have winning this one?
I'm honestly still going to take the Ravens, regardless if he plays or not. From my personal opinion, the Steelers are they're on a spiral. The fact that constantly in the last game, their defense was getting beat up against the Bengals, and they still had to stay in there for the chance to get a fifth seed. And the offense just can't come to life at all. And at this point, these two teams know how to play each other, so I'm going to strictly just give it to a home field advantage. And also, I feel like this is Lamar's time to at least kind of prove that you're the guy. Like, okay, you're really mad that everyone's putting Josh Allen in a more forefront push for MVP race than you, and I get your stats are better than his, but game to game, his team's just looking better than your team is sometimes. Um, and he's also honestly doing it with less, I would say just less weapons. He doesn't have any all-star amazing wide receiver. I mean, maybe Amari Cooper, but I mean, he's not even highly utilized in their system. It's more mostly who just get the ball to whoever's open. So, um, I like the Ravens. I feel strongly about the Ravens to get it done against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh they're not the same Pittsburgh team that we're thinking about. They're just really not.
Yeah, they, like we've been saying the past couple of weeks, there's been a trend the past, I would say 2-3 years of them starting high and then kind of fading towards the end of the season. I want to say that continues, but with Zay Flowers being questionable, just having one less guy, and honestly, I don't trust Bateman in the playoffs. Bateman in the regular season is hard to trust. Him in the playoffs is even harder. He's been known to drop a lot of passes in the big moments. So I want to go Ravens if Zay Flowers plays. If Zay Flowers does not play, I would honestly go Steelers just because maybe Russ can get it together for a playoff game. Honestly, you can't put all the blame on him last game because George Pickens was just terrible. Dropped like 4 or 5 passes. So not all the blame goes to Russ for the last one. So maybe if he can just get those guys on the page for one more game without, Zay Flowers being able to carry the load, at least for the passing, receiving load, maybe he can get something going there. So my gut tells me Ravens, but if Zay Flowers doesn't play, Lawrence, I would go Pittsburgh. I hate that as a double-ended answer, but that's just how I'm feeling, and we'll probably figure out if he plays sometime on Friday. I think moving on to the Sunday games, the 2 seed in the AFC versus the 7 seed in the AFC. We got Bills, Broncos. I guess I'll take this one first. I got the Bills. I don't think the Broncos have a chance. Bo Nix, a youngin. I think this is a game where the youngin learns from the potential MVP guy that's been doing it for a while. And what a chance for Josh Allen to. I know the MVP is a regular season award, but this is a chance to be like, hey, this is why you guys should have voted for me. I'm going to have a masterclass, a wild card game on my way to facing the Kansas City Chiefs eventually at some point 2 weeks later on. So I got the Bills in this one. As far as gambling goes, nothing looks enticing because I honestly don't know if Bo Nix can cover 8.5 because if Josh Allen gets it going, he will put up points. So if anything, maybe take the over on points. But like I said, who knows how Bo Nix will perform in his first playoff game. How you feel, Lawrence?
I kind of feel confident in just taking Buffalo straight up spread. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot done on the side of the Broncos. Honestly, like I'm not trying to say the Broncos are bad, but I think they're like a year. They were like a year too early, and how great they progress. And I honestly, it also comes down to how weak the AFC was at certain points of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like the Bengals, if you win one more game, you're in. Um, the Broncos also seem to they went undefeated against the NFC South, so they easily took advantage of the weakest division in the NFL. So you gotta understand they played their cards correctly. Um, and I mean that's a testament to Sean Payton. He knows how to play the NFC South, so of course he went 4-0 against them. And what was they had 10 wins, 10-win season. When you get a 10-win
Yeah, 10 and
season
7.
and four of them are the NFC South, two of them are the Raiders. That's 6 wins right there. So the record's a little bit inflated. So I'm going to take the Bills.
All right, we both have the Bills winning Sunday at 1. Not a bad prediction there. I think this very, very feasible. Let's go back to the playoff bracket. I believe we have the other 2-7 matchup, Eagles Packers. Now with this one, it's a little bit tricky because of Jalen Hurts. I believe Jordan Love is going to play. I don't think there's a question mark there. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is out of concussion protocol. But it says right here he came to practice today, so I'm guessing he's probably going to be a good to go on Sunday. So with that being said, I'm taking the Eagles. I think they're on the roll. Hey, they're on the roll. If Hurts is able to run the ball effectively, take care of the ball, don't fumble, don't throw any picks, just distribute to your two good receivers, give Saquon 20 to 25 carries, play some good defense. I feel like there's not much that the Packers can do. Jordan Love is turnover happy, but he did have a good first round last year, Lawrence. So there is that to consider when we look at Jordan Love and the Packers. But I think the Eagles got a little too much firepower on offense and defense, honestly, for the Packers. So I'm gonna go Eagles.
I like it. I like it. I'm actually going to take an upset here with the Packers. I'm definitely taking
Oh,
Packers spread for one. Taking Packers spread. That's what I would put all my bets on is Packers spread. That's the one I feel confident in. However, you know, as I'm sitting here, one of us has to have a little bit of an upset to happen, and you always got to think that there's going to be one. And the
yep.
reason why I picked this one is what you alluded to is the Packers' ability to just win a playoff game on the road. We saw it last year. I get it; it's not the same team, but it's the same conference. Um, and there have been times this season where I think the Eagles look exploitable. Um, honestly, if the ball is not moving around enough, AJ Brown's going to throw a fit. These are small things that are going to go down if things happen. Um, I'm not saying that losing Christian Watson isn't a big deal, but on a different level, I'm saying it's not that big of a deal. Honestly, I think it makes it easier for the ball to get to its go-to guys. It needs to a little bit better. And for me, if I'm the Packers, I'm going Kraft, I'm going Reed, I'm going Wicks. Like there's a game plan that can be made. Um, and the Packers have been known this season to be good at getting staying on the field on third down. I mean they're top 10, they're top 5 in rush, top 9 in yards, and they're top 7 in points, tied with the Eagles in that fact. But the Eagles are only 29th in passing yards all season. They do all their damage to the rush, and the Packers are the seventh best rushing team in rushing defense. And honestly, we don't. And I also think the Packers, all their losses are also, I want to say, a little bit inflated. Yes, they lost the last one to the Bears, but they did pretty much everything they were supposed to win that game. They were resting players at the end, and they still almost found a way to win it. They have they have what, 4 losses, 3 losses. to the two best teams in the pretty much league at the moment, Lions and
Yep.
Vikings. It's 3 or 4. So I feel like the Packers have no bad losses. We've seen them make upsets, and it's the same division with a team that has a lot of question marks. If he's still questionable, that means he hasn't been practicing with the team, and if he hasn't been practicing, he's not going to be 100% like chemistry wise with his guys. He's just not. So I feel strongly that Green Bay can make an upset here.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts' first day back in practice was today, so I think you're right. Yeah, got some time off, and he has to kind of rebuild that chemistry and all that stuff. So it will be interesting to see. The night game, Bucks Commanders were in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is favored by 3. Who do you got in this one, Lawrence? The Commanders or Tampa Bay?
I think Tampa Bay just finished off the season right and kind of hot. And there's one problem with the. I mean, there's just one problem with the Commanders. They just can't play defense. St. Juice is completely exploitable. Um, and you honestly don't think that Mike Evans is going to get lined up on St. Juice every once in a while, and Baker's just going to go yard, and it's going to be a PI, or he's going to catch it. Like these are just things that you know are going to go down. We know Baker's good at getting elusive. Washington doesn't have the greatest pass rush. They definitely don't have the best tackling team either. And Baker can get away for some tackles. Everything just says Tampa Bay is going to win this, so give me Washington.
I like it. I've been going back and forth with this one. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay. I don't. I'm not gonna quite. I know Jaden Daniels has pulled off a couple of miracle games. I don't think his luck is going to run into the playoffs, though. I think Baker has been running on some magic. The Baker magic, I think, will continue. I mean, what can you say? He's done at points. He's done a lot with a lot less, and it's been pretty interesting to watch. And he has Bucky Irvin, which I think he will have a field day against the Commanders defense because, like you said, they can't stop anybody. Really bad at tackling. Defensive line is kind of banged up for them, and their defensive line is okay, but not the best. I know John Allen's back, and they still have Deron Payne, but other than that, there's no other guys you got to really worry about. And then from the Commanders side, they just have not been able to run the ball like they used to in terms of beginning to middle of the season. I think they won't be able to run it against Tampa Bay very effectively. Todd Bowles, defensive guy, I think he'll be able to put a game plan on to be able to stop the run and make Jaden Daniels beat them, which, hey, that, he can do it. But rookie going to his first playoff game, I think he will make some mistakes. I don't think the moment will be too big for him. I think he'll just make too many mistakes to come back from. So that being said, Lawrence, I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I'm going to take that spread. I think we got one more.
Vikings, Rams.
Rams, Vikings, the Monday night wild card game. Who do you got, Lawrence? I'm interested to see.
I'm gonna take the Rams for the upset. My only thoughts are Sam Darnold kind of played his cards. He kind of showed that he wasn't really clutch last week. I mean, he was just constantly. I mean, to be fair, he didn't have any of the ref help. The refs were not going to help him in the slightest. So he kind of needed to play above himself to win that game, and he didn't show it. So I'm going to go with the quarterback that I've seen do it, but I don't think they're going to go on any kind of run out of it. I think the one thing the Vikings have done good all season is they stop the run. They get people off the field. The thing the Rams love to do is throw the ball. That is probably the Vikings' one weakness. And Matthew Stafford can, cook people. He's got both his wide receivers healthy with a week off. He's got a week off. Fabian Monroe isn't going to play. Well, he's expected, but he's not going to be 100%. for the Vikings. So that means at cornerback they're just going to be thin. So for those reasons, I'm going to take the Rams.
Cool. Yeah, I'm taking the Rams also. I think I kind of alluded to Monday. I think they got one more run left in them if everything goes their way. I think it starts on Monday night versus the Vikings. I'm gonna go with the guy that's been there, done that. I trust him. I trust his wideouts. Puka going to his second year in Cooper Cup. He's a trusted hands guy that's been there, done that as well. He knows what it takes. Yeah, the Vikings are hot, but question mark, and you kind of said it. Sam Darnold, he kind of didn't show up in a big moment on this previous. What was it? They played on Monday night, right? This previous game versus
Sunday.
the Lions, Sunday night game. Didn't play well. Some of that was because the refs didn't have his back, but at the end of the day, if you're a really good quarterback, you can overcome refs at times, and he just didn't do it. So I'm not going to trust a guy that hasn't been there, hasn't done that. I'm gonna go with the proven vet, the guy that's won a Super Bowl. I think he has one more run left in him. I'm gonna go with Matt Stafford and the Rams. They're supposed to play in LA, but because of the wildfires, they might have to play in Arizona. But they're still on track to play in LA. So fingers crossed they can play a home game and not have to go to Arizona.
Would it be a home game? If they were at home, who knows?
I don't know. Do Vikings fans really travel like that?
I think for this they would.
Okay. From one football league to the other, we got college football up. The first game we got is tomorrow. Penn State, Notre Dame, 7:30 ESPN. Notre Dame's a 1.5 favorite. Lawrence, I'll let you take this one first. Who do you have in this semifinal game?
I'm gonna ride Notre Dame one more time. With that
Okay.
1.5. I feel personally every year that I watch Penn State, they always you always just like believe that they're fraudulent, right?
Yes.
Just what they do season after season. It's like the same song and dance. Now this year, I will admit they've looked quite better. They haven't choked like we thought they would by now. But I'm also gonna kind of, type it up to when they played SMU. The problem with SMU all season was they turned the ball over a lot. And what did Penn State make them do? Turn the ball over. Well, Notre Dame doesn't like to turn the ball over a lot, so we don't have to worry about that. Notre Dame likes to run the ball a lot. Penn State likes to defend the run, but Notre Dame runs the ball just a little bit differently. Will they be able to stop it? Yeah, I think they'll be able to stop some of them, but not all of the runs. Next, like Penn State didn't. I mean, in my opinion, they didn't play anyone crazy hard until Ohio State and Oregon, and then both got pancaked. We both kind of said that if Boise State had a decent quarterback, that would have been a different game. I mean, that's really true. Maybe they weren't
Yeah.
the seed that we thought they were supposed to be. Um, league execs. Next, I mean Notre Dame, like Indiana hadn't played anyone all season. They handled Indiana like it was nothing. They looked closer than it was supposed to at the end. Georgia, they took care of business with Georgia. I mean, the team that's been there, done that for the longest time in college football, they handled that. They took care of business. I mean, they're looking strong is the best way to put it. And I'm gonna have to go with a quarterback that's he came out of Duke, but he's a senior. I just kind of have to trust his game a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm going Notre Dame as well. I'm gonna keep riding the wave while it's hot. I think they have no weaknesses, offense, defense. We kind of saw it in the Georgia game. They just could play really good defense. They could run the ball when they want to. Some of those drives did look ugly, but I feel like for the most part they did what they wanted. I think they'll continue against Penn State, even though Penn State is, I think, a top 5 team in the nation against the run. they've only allowed like 200 or 300-yard rushers. So I think Notre Dame's more of a combined rushing attack. So you have to kind of game plan for a couple guys running the ball against you. Is a little bit different than, hey, we just gotta stop Genty. Like, obviously, I think it's a huge difference. And I think, like you said, Lawrence, Penn State always lets us down. Even though I never really root for them, but their fans, people that might bet on them, at some point they will let you down. And I think tomorrow night they will let down a lot of people. So I'm gonna go Notre Dame, take that 1.5 points, and feel good about it. And the last one, Texas, Ohio State. This one's on Friday, 7:30 ESPN. Texas almost had a scare there. If it wasn't for the Zebras, they probably would have lost. But Ohio State, they handled their business without Zebra help. They whoop ass against Oregon, got their revenge. This is tough. Who do you have, Lawrence? I'm almost 50-50, just like this matchup predictor.
I'm on the side of Texas, and I think this is gonna be the game that it's gonna have everyone saying, "Oh man, he's got to go. This coach sucks. He's got to go for Ohio State, even though he's gotten you this far. You can't really
Yep.
say he sucks, but everyone's gonna say it. Just mark my words. Watch it. Thinking like he can't win the big one, and honestly, I think Texas's defense is gonna help win the big one. Um, I don't think they're gonna have the same problem they did against Arizona State and like not being able to find a solution. I
Yeah.
think I just feel it that way because Texas has proven this whole season that their defense was legit, and it kind of just felt like they were flat against Arizona State, which I don't think will be repeated. And then all you gotta do is have Ewers do enough. But I think we're also gonna see a lot more Manning in this one. Like we didn't see any of Manning last game, which I think both both the opponent and Texas realized they probably shouldn't have just played straight Ewers the whole game. There should have been the ability to break a run, kind of threat, change momentum sometimes. Because sometimes Ewers was just looking. Is the best way to put it out there.
Yeah, I'm torn. Like I said, I'm pretty much 50-50, but I'm gonna go Buckeyes. I'm gonna go Buckeyes again. Um, I'm gonna say the same thing I said last week. As long as the defense can play well and they don't play from behind, Will Howard doesn't have to be the hero. I feel like this is a very winnable game for Ohio State. If they get down a lot early, it's not going to be too good in their favor of trying to make a comeback, because I think Will Howard doesn't play well under extreme pressure. Now, big games, I think he can win. He proved it. He proved it last game against Oregon. Hey, I can go win you a big game. But then again, he had to leave for the whole game. So it's kind of easier to just keep letting your foot down than, scrambling to make a comeback. So, yeah, they got to get out the gate. Don't get down big. Maybe you go down. Maybe you don't get the ball first and they score first. Okay, well, you got to put up points too. And you just got to have that mentality. Texas, seen it last game. Ewers, I feel like I don't think he has what it takes to win the big game. You could see he kind of got rattled. We can kind of just blame Arizona State for just leaving Golden pretty much uncovered. On that 4th and 12, like we all knew, everyone in the stadium, everyone watching at home knew the ball was going to Golden, and you just made it easy for Ewers to make that pass without too much pressure, really. So you got to be able to keep them under pressure. Got to be able to rush them. I think Ohio State's defense can do that, but they got to be ready, like I said, Lawrence, for the Arch Manning switch up, which I believe if that offense does get stagnant, becomes flat like it did in the second half for Texas versus Arizona State, I think they will make a change. And I think Manning will give them enough of an edge, a little different, playmaker. and that will work towards Texas. So, but I got Ohio State. Get the Buckeyes.
Fair enough.
All right, semifinal games. Like I said, Thursday, Friday, and then the Natty should be the following week. Let's just double check. I believe it's the following week. Yeah, January 20th, which is 12 days from now. We're recording on the 8th, so about 12 days from now. Exciting stuff there. Other than that, folks, we don't have too much else going on NBA wise. Not too much is going on. The Jimmy saga is still here. I've been seeing that there was potentially a trade the other day. I don't know how true this was, but the Grizzlies shot up in odds for the team being able to acquire Jimmy. And as soon as I saw that, I saw another report that was like, yeah, Jimmy doesn't want to go to the Grizzlies. He wouldn't sign an extension there. And then I saw something else that was like, yeah, there was a three team trade on the table. Jimmy basically denied it. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, that's pretty much where we are at the moment. So apparently, hey, he doesn't want to go to any other team but Miami. So someone's lying here. So a little interesting nugget right there. But Lakers lost to the Mavs without Kyrie or Luka. That's pretty disappointing, pretty pathetic, honestly. AD and Goat James should be ashamed of themselves. But my Heatles, I don't know if you guys can see, my Heatles beat the Warriors last night. I didn't think they had it in them. They bounced back after losing in double overtime against the Kings the other night. And I felt bad that I stayed up to watch that game. Lawrence, you text me as soon as the game ended. Like, they had it and let it slip away.
Well, see, I had the Kings, and because you told me that they were going to win, and I was like, okay, I'll bet the Kings. And then I was watching it, and they were just down so bad, and I was like, well, Markel hoed me. I just checked my account later because I had written that game off. I was checking on it in a college basketball bet, and then I just see that the Kings are down by like 5 with like 2 minutes left, and I was like, "There's no way they blew that. Like, you're lying to me. You told me right now they had that nice little lead and they blew it." And lo and behold, you were spot on. They were going to be up and they were going to blow it. It was going to be kind of crazy and funny at the same time. And depressing all at the same.
Yeah, not a good game. I think at some point they were up 19, and then didn't play well in overtime. So it's good to see them get a win against a quality team like the Warriors. College basketball wise, Mason lost to Rhode Island. I think it was Saturday, right, Lawrence? They lost to Rhode Island, even though they played pretty well first half. Rhode Island kind of snuck back in that one. I think Mason is up currently right now versus, I believe we're playing Richmond.
Yep.
Up by 9. I think the spread was like 10, so they might cover the spread in this one.
It closed at 14 and a half.
Oh, damn. Maybe it opened at 10, then it closed at 14? Oh, my God.
Yeah, they were big favorites in this. I mean, I had it on before we started. They looked slow in the first half. They have obviously come back. I do believe that we're a second half team.
Yeah.
I think I kind of just don't know the underlying problem with the team. I would just say there's just a shooter outage.
Yes, lack of, yes.
Yeah. There's just not much to say on them. I don't think they make the tournament, but I could be wrong at the same time. They could surprise us. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, before the Rhode Island game, I thought they were looking like they were going on a nice little streak right there, but because that was a very, very winnable game. They could have gone to this one, 2-0 in the conference, but now they got a tough game against Richmond, and it looks like Richmond's starting to come back a little bit. Yeah, I think it comes down to lack of shooting, and sometimes the rotations I feel like are kind of bad. We know we got a good big guy. I think his name is Haynes. Very good big man. Honestly, just keep feeding the rock. He's been playing well. O'Connor's here and there. Maddox, you can see tonight he's over 5. Games like this, I think he just needs to sit down. Like, you can't be jacking him shots, bro. Because he has lost us a couple of games by him just jacking up shots. So that's my 2 cents.
All right.
Other than that, I don't have anything else. Monday Night Raw was very good. Hopefully you guys got to watch that. That was a good first episode on Netflix. All the matches were very, very good. Some of the cameo appearances from The Rock. Surprise from The Undertaker. I didn't see that coming, even though it's just after the Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan fight. Any thoughts on Raw, Lawrence? It was everything you were expecting?
No, I kind of didn't like to see Punk win. It kind of killed my vibe. There's no way that Seth freaking Rollins is about to lose to an old man like that. How dare they disrespect Seth freaking Rollins like that?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of either guy, but I guess they got build up CM Punk because he did get hurt last year around this time, or maybe a little bit after the WrestleMania. So they probably got to kind of build him back up. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. Next week's looking a little bit lighter. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think that's it, folks. MTL Sports episode 138. Enjoy playoff football this weekend and college football to Thursday and Friday. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace out.
Giving me wind and rain.